Hello, my name is David Webb, and this is a video for Dweebovision. I am a Scrabble grandmaster, and in this video I am going to play Scrabble while providing in-game commentary on my moves. Hopefully this will help to improve your game, and be fun to watch. The game has just started, so let's join the action. It's me to go first. I have no scoring tiles, I don't have a bingo, and I'm looking to resolve the duplicate. So I'm looking to play off 2 T's and an A, which I can do with tat, but that's leaving A-O-N-T. So it would be good to play off one more vowel. I can't see a way of doing that, so I think I will go with tat. I think tanto is good, but I don't think that's going to have a better rack leave than this. Now, is sonance good? I think it is. I have assonant in column 8, down from the A of tat. And I think sonance is good, in which case I can make tats or stat. So hopefully I will be bingoing next go. Great. Columns 6 and 10 remain available, but I can also hook warn. Assonant, my higher scoring play, has been blocked, so I'm left with sonance. Now, where's the best spot to play that? I think this avoids putting vowels next to premium squares. Sonance 68. Well, a balanced rack, but too many high-scoring tiles for there to be a bingo here. I think, although I note if the O was a U, I would have cube fish. So sometimes there are bingos with this sort of distribution. But I don't think there is one with this rack, but it should be fairly easy to resolve with 3 vowels. Now the C and the H have got some synergy, so it may be better for me to play off the F and the B first. So a play of fob would leave C-H-I-E, which is a reasonable rack leave. And fob at the moment does play in row K underneath the first 2 letters of sonance. Warn takes an A in front for future reference. I could play off 3 of my high-scoring tiles with chief. I can't see anywhere for that at the moment. I note that column 11 is a double-double lane, which can be achieved without a bingo. So I have biotech in that column, but it's not a double-double. Now my opponent's challenged and loses 5 points because sonance is good. 8 points for my opponent. Seg takes an O after it. Biotech has been blocked. So I could play fob in row M, making C go. 21 points. With quite a good rack leave, and that's not giving terribly much away. It's opening bingo lanes, but bingo lanes already exist on this board. But can I do better than fob? Well, I think I can score more by playing that under the S and O of sonance. I could play fiche along here. I think this is going to score a bit more. And the rack leave isn't terrible. 33 points, that's certainly at least 10 points better than either of my fob plays, and this rack leave isn't 10 points worse. I draw the Z. but not a great rack. It's a long way from a bingo. I do, however, have a 100-point lead, or thereabouts. Now, I would like to play off one of my A's, but it would be good to play off the U as well, and I don't think I'm going to play off the A, U, and Z. I would have Bues onto an E, but there's no E available at the moment. Yep, nice bingo by my opponent, 70 points. He does provide E's, but not in quite the right spot for Bues. I could play Hayes at H1. That's going to score quite well. $48 points. I could play Zoea in the same spot for 42, 6 points fewer, and keeping BUH. Well, I think this is better than that play. Now, is there a better spot for my Z? It's unlikely. 48 points is a lot. And this rack leave, although it's pretty poor, it is not a disaster. I do have a scoring tile and a vowel for next go. Well, that couldn't have been any worse. When you keep a vowel-heavy rack leave, there's always the possibility that you will draw only vowels, and that's exactly what's happened in this case. But the B is a scoring tile, so it will probably be better to play than to change. I've got Beau on my rack, B-E-A-U, which plays in column 3. Now I'm looking at the T of sonance to see if I can play in column 11. I'm looking to play off at least 3 vowels. I've got Tor in that spot, but that's only 2 vowels. Now, what about playing through the Z? 30 points for my opponent. I have the U for going with the Q, but I'm not going to get that play doubled, and I don't have an I for a play in column 4. So I think I can do better than use the Q. My B can go in front of in. So I could play Beau in column 2, but again, I'm only using 2 vowels, and to have a rack leave of just 4 vowels is pretty dreadful. So what about this play, Abode, across here? It sorts out all the duplicates. It plays off 3 vowels. I think the score's going to be okay. 30 points. I think that's the best I can do with this rack. And I'm retaining the U for which goes well with the Q. But I think I'm only going to really utilise that if I can get a bingo, which isn't very likely, because the play doesn't get doubled. Now I do have an I. In fact, I have 2 of them, so I'm certainly looking to play off one of them, so I'm drawn to column 4. Good score for my opponent. Bar takes an O in front. But what about column 4? What do I have which goes after bar? An L and a P. So I could play... Well, I was going to say pale. I don't have an A. I could play oil. Well, that's inviting trouble. Only 27 points as well. So what about the O in front of BA? That would inhibit my opponent from taking advantage of the Q himself. So I could play Lipo in that spot. 27 points. Is there a play which uses one more vowel? I've got 13 minutes left, 46 tiles in the bag. And should I be looking elsewhere on this board? And in addition to a play coming down from A1, maybe there's a play which starts lower down and hooks add and yin as well. My P can go and, well, I don't have a play, but let me just put the relevant tiles down. My P can go there. My O can go there. Well, my L can go in the middle, but there's not going to be a play with that. Okay, that's exhausted that. Just looking around in case there are any floaters which could give me a bingo. Pretty unlikely. The R probably the most promising, but I can't see anything through that. So I think Lipo's the best I've seen, but I'm not particularly pleased with it. It would be good to get rid of this U. It's hanging around a lot, and there are 3 more to come. Well, I draw another I. Again, I'm looking at the R of Needlia to see if there's a bingo here. Can't see one. Pretty unlikely with a U and 2 I's, but it's very important to always look, because a missed bingo is likely to be an expensive error. Now my I can go after the Q, but I can no longer reach the double word square. I've got milieu as a 6-letter word on this rack. I note that the N of sonance is also available as a floater because tat takes an E after it. I've got the IUM ending. Well, this is a tricky rack to deal with. I have not seen any moves so far that I like. I can't see anywhere to play milieu. I can now. Only 14 points for my opponent. So, do I play milieu under the O of Arvo? It's 26 points. It's high turnover, which is good with 2 blanks still to come. I do have a lead, but it's not a vast lead. And milieu does open up row O. Well, I haven't seen anything better than milieu. I don't think it's reckless. It certainly sorts the rack out. And my P can go underneath the U. If my opponent takes the middle triple word square, he may leave the right hand one for me. Well, it's good to have a rack without a U. I can't see a bingo here, but it's a balanced rack, and I've got scoring tiles in the W and P. If I played POW or WOP, I'd have EIRT, and that would be quite good. I can play power in row O underneath the U of milieu. That will score quite well. I don't have an S for going underneath OM. And I can't score very much with the middle triple word square by playing in row O. I could play in column 8. Play like wilt or polt. Now, what will I do if both of those spots are taken? Well, there's not a huge number of opportunities elsewhere. "33 tiles in the bag, 10 minutes on my clock, 11 on my opponent's." Just the one bingo each so far. I've got the wort suffix. This rack feels like it's close to a bingo. I would have pile wort through an L, and the L of lipo is not in the right spot. So this rack does have some bingo potential, but there's not too many floaters to consider, apart from the L of lipo. There's the N and T of sonance. I could play pow at N1, making or. Great. Power remains available. 27 points for my opponent. That could have been worse. Or twerp, which is going to score more. And the P in the bottom right-hand corner is less dangerous than the R. 44 points, a good score. Dreadful rack leave, but only 2 I's and 2 O's in the bag. So this shouldn't be too calamitous. Well, I draw one of the I's and a duplicate N. I would have incision through an I. The I of lipo, not quite in the right spot. I can't see anything with the N and T of sonance. Oh, well, what about incitons? Now, I have some doubts about incitons because I think I may be confusing it with excitons. But if incitons is wrong, I think there is another anagram which is good. I've got a feeling I may have tried incitons before and when going through my card box and getting it wrong. Well, nothing's coming to mind. Now, I have a 100-point lead, which is good. Well, that's not good, though. Great. My opponent's got a U. 3 U's left. So, what to do now? The board is quite bingo-y because columns 6 and 9 are available, 6 and 10 rather, are available for 7-letter bingos ending in S. But there is only one S out there. However, there are 2 blanks. Now, I have an S, so how can I maximize my bingo potential with this rack? Well, certainly playing off IN would leave a fairly okay rack leave, or ION perhaps better. So I could play into in column 11. Well, do I really want to open up a bingo lane? I think I do, because if my opponent was playing A, I, U, D, he probably doesn't have a bingo on his rack. Now the trouble with into is its dismal score. 12 points. That doesn't feel great. What about playing off 6 tiles at 01, making ohms? So, ionics. Over 30 points. Yeah, I think this is going to be Better, with only 25 tiles left and 2 blanks still to come. I'd like to maximise turnover. I have some doubt about this, which will be immensely annoying if it comes off. Actually, I won't be too upset if it comes off with this rack to face. Just the one vowel. Great, it stays on, so maybe it's good, but it doesn't matter for the moment, it stays on. My opponent had an X along with AIDU, so he still got ADU. Not great. The remaining tiles are not particularly bingo-y. I've got the only S. Great, so I played an S and drew the last S. Having said it's not particularly bingo-y, there are 2 blanks out there, which always makes the bag slightly bingo-y. Now I'm going to struggle to play off a lot of tiles with this rack. And it would be good to keep the E because I have no vowels. So what about playing down here beside Milo? I could play Fid. 6 minutes on my clock, 17 tiles still to come, so I probably shouldn't take too much time over this move. Yeah, I think that's fine, not too many other vowels to consider. Although I could go for turnover and play something like Fenks and Yins. I do like turning over tiles when there's only a few tiles in the bag and they include both blanks. 31 points. Great, there is one of the blanks. I have Overdog and Grooved. No F for either of those. The R of Twerp is a useful floater. I've got a 130-point lead. Now Warn takes an A in front, so row F is a bingo lane for bingos with an A in first or second position. 2 A's still to come. I don't think I am going to bingo with this rack unless my opponent opens up the board. Just looking at the floaters in Fenks. Well, my opponent goes where I was thinking of going. He only scores 13 points, which is pretty miserable. 10 tiles left. What can I do here? I certainly don't have to go for the bingo since I'm ahead. Fenks has taken out column 6. Maybe I can take out column 10. Tricky when I don't have anything to go after Tat. 5 minutes on the clock. I could play Though in column 13 at the bottom for 12 points. Ah, well, this looks a bit better. Gov across here. It's opening up another bingo lane for bingos ending in S. But that's not a problem because one of those already exists. So either I should shut down the one which already exists, or I can create another one. 23 points is a decent score. And the rack leaves good. Great, I have Yodelers and 2 spots to play that. And it's unlikely that both would be blocked, although I guess a bingo beginning above Warn in row F might do that. My lead is now 130 points. If my opponent does bingo, he will be emptying the bag. 3 U's still to be played, so my opponent could have an awful rack. Yodelers in column 10 will place the Y on a triple letter square, which is good. I'm looking at the floaters in Fenks in case one of them provides a bingo, but I can't see one. Great, only 5 points for my opponent. Yodelers, 73. I draw the second blank and the J. I've got Dural on my rack. Can't see anywhere for that. Just looking at my opponent's rack, you can see his rack at the bottom of your screen. Quite a good rack. There may be a bingo there. I think he's got Trig, but nowhere to play it. There may be a bingo through one of the floaters in Yodelers, but I can't see it, and I haven't particularly looked for it. I've got 4 minutes left. It would be nice to go out in one with this rack. Can I do that? Can't see anything through HA in column 1. I can't see any 5-letter plays apart from Dural. Just looking down Yodelers. No, can't see anything. I do have an A for going in front of a Warn. Now my J can go in front of the O of Yodelers, so at the moment I could play Jar. Joe and add for a good score. I have add jur through the D of Yodelers. I'm pretty sure that's good. I know abjure and objure are. Actually, I'm not terribly confident about adjure, probably because it is so similar to those two I've just mentioned. I have a 200-point lead, so this game is won. My opponent has 5 minutes left. I think I will try adjure if it remains available. I think I'll run through the alphabet as well to see if any new ideas come to mind. And I'm trying to keep in mind the floaters in Yodelers. So that's abjure through an E. That's adjure onto an E. Jarful. Okay. So adjure remains available if it's good. Has my opponent provided anything new? My J can go in front of AY. Well, I think I will try this. It'll be annoying if this comes off, but it's not going to affect the result of the game. It doesn't look quite right to me. But it's challenged, it stays on, it is good. That is the end of the game. And the final score, 246 to my opponent, 481 to me, a winning margin of 235 points. So a huge, huge win. Let's see what I missed. So it was me to go first. I played Tat, and I think a Natto or Tanto are, well, probably similar actually, and maybe fractionally better. My opponent's rack, he played War, and I had Sonants and Santons, which I didn't see. My opponent's rack, that looks pretty good. Does he have a bingo? No, that's surprising. This was my rack, a lot of high-scoring tiles. I played fiche, and that looks fine. This is my opponent's rack. He played needlier, which was a great spot. And then this is my rack, and I played haze for 48. I didn't like the rack lead, but I can't see anything better. My opponent's rack, he plays caddy, and I played abode, which looks fine. My opponent's rack, not very nice. He played bay, and then I think I went through a run of grim racks. Lip for 35, well, 4 vowels, not great. This was the oil play, which I didn't like because of the front hooks. Liriope was available through Needlier. I may have played that if I'd seen it. I played Lipo for 27, so I think Liriope probably better than that. And the difference between Lip and Lipo, 8 points. Well, there's probably not much between them. My opponent's rack, he played Arvo. And this is where I played Milieu, which isn't down here. But Pyleum is in the same spot. And Pyleum probably better because it's retaining an I rather than a U. And it scores more. My opponent's rack, he played Milo, and then, look at that. I played Twerp with an E. I should have played it with an I. EO, a much better rack lead than IO. My opponent's rack. And then here was my rack, and I should have had an E instead of an I. And in which case I would have had Conine. So that was an expensive blunder playing Twerp with an E rather than the I. Let me just go back and look for bingos. There wasn't a bingo, and as you can see, Ionics was good. My opponent's rack, he played Zai. And here I thought about playing Fid and nearly played Fid and then switched to Fenks. And I think Fenks was the right play. It scored 8 more points. And although the rack lead for Fid does have an E and an S, the G and the K are quite clunky. And tile turnover was quite important in terms of getting one or both of the remaining blanks. My opponent's rack, he played Din, and this was my overdog rack. Nowhere to play it, and Gov for 23 looks best. My opponent's rack, Tup for 5, and then I had Yodelers, which was the only bingo I saw. What was also available was Forcedly and Forkedly, beginning with the F of Fenks. Modernly, where's that? Through the N of Sonance, and Forelady, again with the F of Fenks. But Yodelers was best. My opponent's rack, and then finally Adjure was the only outplay, so I'm glad I played it. So that was the end of the game. Very high scoring game, nearly 500 points and a massive spread. So pretty exciting game to play. Variety of racks, certainly a run of tricky racks in the middle of that game. So I think it was useful to play through those and to go through the sort of thought processes which you need to do with tricky racks. So I hope you enjoyed watching that game and got something out of it. My name is David Webb, and this has been a video for Dweebovision.